Welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts and you're catching me at True Divine 44. Still having voice problems, I haven't got a sore throat or anything. Excuse the setting because I've moved to a different place in the home, so I need to get some decor, and I'm waiting for a desk to come and whatnot, so it will look great soon. So, but I wanted to check in. I haven't checked in. You all know I've been dealing with a lot lately, so I wanted to check in and just do some tarot, bring it back to center, bring it back to what I do best, one of the things I do best, and do a little bit of a reading regarding Kyiv, regarding the complications of things not being black and white, things not being the clear-cut good and bad. This place is so imbalanced. This place has such a toxicity, this realm, for a long time, and over the last few years in particular, that's been ramping up. And what can look really bad, actually, sometimes you need, if you want to label things, if you have to, with the very limited and very divisive English language, label things, sometimes you would want a demon to go after a demon, so to speak. And so regarding Russia, and just a feeling that's been coming up for me, particularly the place called Kyiv. Some people say Kiev, but I think it's Kyiv. You know, I'm not saying Putin is a good man. I'm not saying that at all. He's got his own agendas, his own ego and power play. But at the same time, there's certain things that actually we wouldn't want either, that he doesn't want either. And I really feel there's this part of that is whatever is in Kyiv, in Ukraine. And so Kyiv being a place, I feel that there's going to be a big explosion, there's going to be a big, and it'll be played out, you know, regarding, it'll be played out on the news regarding Putin as this evil. Actually, whatever that is planning to explode there needs to be exploded. Whatever lab is there, it needs to be gone. We want it gone. And so, I've got the Page of Pentacles. So just regarding his actions there. So it's the strategic messenger, and there's lots of strategy in Putin's game. He wants his own powers, he wants his own autonomies, he wants his own rules, but then at the same time there are certain things that actually would coincide with what most of right-thinking humanity would want also regarding what we're facing right now. And part of these Ace of Swords, part of these labs that have created some things that really are going to play out in humanity, that are of a very dark subject matter, of derivative of like a black goo matter, we want gone. And unfortunately, we might have to use or allow certain negatively directed, negatively charged people to get at them, to stop what is being produced. We don't want it to be produced seriously. We do not. So we've got, as far as the tarot, as far as the sort of questioning that I've got as regards to as regard to what we're seeing being played out on the news, on the mainstream media, is so different, and so it's such manipulation and such lies. You can feel it, it's palpable. And so regarding his actions, I'm not saying all these actions are of like this angelic way. I'm not saying, oh, this side or that side that I take it, because I will not play that game. But I'm just saying all is not what it seems. That's quite obvious. And regarding the actions in this place called Kyiv in particular, I just feel it's a necessary evil, in that we do need at least 7, 8 of these labs around the world to be gone, regarding for the betterment of humanity, quite literally, for what they're producing there. So we've got the Page of Pentacles to start, the Ace of Swords, 7 of Wands, the Magician, Major Arcana, and the 9 of Wands. So regarding the messenger, we really do need to break through this cycle of taking sides. This is exactly what the mainstream media wants. The sort of their strategy is to create a side like red and blue, Democrat, whatever, Republican, Catholic or Christian, all sides. Regarding this reading, what I'm doing is cutting through as to say, regarding some of the actions, particularly with this place called Kyiv, and that there is a strategy there behind. There's mythology in his madness, and he has absolute clarity and purpose with this Ace of Swords as to knowing he has to get something gone. Is this for the love of humanity? Probably not. Is this for the love of himself, not wanting to be able to have frequency, influence people around him, not be having that kind of weaponry within the human body, and therefore being able to be utilized through frequency, through sound? Then definitely yes. So for reasons of his own wanting, but they're actually reasons that we would want too. There are certain places, particularly in Ukraine, that need to get gone, and it needs, there are more around the world that need to get gone. And I do feel that there is these necessary evils that are going to be treated in a very different way. So he's got absolute clear thought processes. There's not a madness there. There's a very precise and wider picture, clarity there to his actions. Now with the 7 of Wands here, you can see is on uneven ground. His shoes don't match, you know, is the world's against him, so to speak. But a lot of this is manipulation, a lot of this is attack, a lot of this is the manipulation of the thoughts of the people, i.e. I stand with Ukraine, I stand with Russia. So there is this attack, but there also is this attack within with this card, in that the USA, England has been encroaching into Ukraine, I feel, and has been utilizing a very corrupt system in Ukraine to have labs there, to create things that we are seeing today, or what is going in people's bodies. To filter money through there, to be able to stay under the radar, so to speak. It's no mistake, I don't feel, that the Biden is in the presidential seat when Putin has decided he has to go in. because Biden, that family, it feels like they have just such deep tentacles into that country. They have such deep nefarious ties to the government there, regarding being able to hide money, regarding being able to get close to a adversary in Russia, in Putin himself, that would actually be a threat to their plans. And again, this isn't me saying he's a great guy. This is me saying he's a guy that doesn't want to be controlled. He's a guy that probably would sell his own granny, but at the same time, he doesn't want to be controlled. So there is a slice of that that we can resonate with. We do not want to be controlled. We do not want things implemented that could lead to us being easily controlled, particularly via sound, via frequency. And so it's a really difficult position because he is being attacked from all sides. He's surrounded here. These ones are surrounding him. But at the same time, is on the higher ground in this particular aspect, is on the higher ground, because there are things in Ukraine that are a major part of the plans that are going down right now. I really do feel there are major labs in Ukraine, and I really feel it's been a big player in being a hidden little factory to lead us to where we are now, as to what we are suffering from this medical tyranny, so to speak. I'm going to be so careful about how you say things. So the magician, major arcana. I need to do another video on this, but this is the as above, so below, playing out the war of the gods, the war of the energies, the war of the entities, the war on the ground, seeing the division and the tactics of choosing sides, and there's war within people. People are feeling at war with themselves. But this magician card for him would say that he doesn't realize the capacity of really bringing into play, like we've never seen before, magicians being able to create things from the stars to the below, from literally the energy of the stars, mapping the stars like neurotransmitters right down to the neurotransmitters in the brain. And so there's this capability that has been, for a large part, brewing in Ukraine, i.e., particularly the USA and England, using labs, filtering money through there. And so he has all these tools on the table. He has all of this knowledge. He has all of this knowing. And it's not that actually he wouldn't want this technology for himself, I feel. I think he would. He just knows that if he has it, everybody else has the capability of having it. And that's no good. And so he's bringing in his own magic, so to speak, to counteract a magic like we haven't seen before. A level of control and ability to manipulate, to change the Holy Grail, to change DNA through sound, through frequency, and carrying agents such as the derivative of black goo. And so there's real reasoning as to why this is happening. And it is not happening as it seems on the news. If they're telling you to look that way, choose that way, stand that way, probably a good idea to just stand back and choose nothing, see nothing that they want you to see, but look within yourself, because this is a play beyond all plays. So there's a necessary evil to the alchemy of his knowledge to not allow, particularly the USA government, which is puppeted by the Israeli government, as well as the English government, which is puppeted as well by the Israeli government, to have this capability. And so again, sending in a demon to catch a demon. And so necessary evil. And this isn't to say that I endorse anything or choose any side, better or worse. It's just to give an insight to all is not as it seems. Black and white does not exist. There's always that merging area of grey that we need to be grown up enough to look at. So the Nine of Wands would speak of the need for discernment, the need to stop and pause. What our counteraction would be to what they're trying to play out on the news, to what they're trying to manipulate people's mindsets into being, would be to look the other way, make as big a noise as possible. With the antidote of war, there is love. And being discerning in that love, being able to see through the charade and not be triggered into choosing a path, a side, that would make it impossible to stay neutral and in the middle. We really do need that hippie vibe to come back, of refusing to war, of refusing to do what is asked of us when it's to harm another. But then at the same time, we are where we are, and reality is that we have allowed such nefarious things to be created and to be utilized by the powers that be. So there is a level of needing to rebalance, recalibrate, and unfortunately that is not going to happen without a few things blowing up, without a few things being destroyed. It's really a necessary evil. Now, that's not to say later down the line, are we going to have to find a way to placate and work with the likes of Putin? But I do think he's seen the bigger picture, that with this type of technology, with this type of capability, nobody is immune. So it goes back to what I feel I can keep hearing, is that he would love this technology if he could guarantee that he and only he had control of it. But he can't. Nobody can. It's insidious. It's already out there. It's like trying to scoop a load of ferrets back in the bag, and you know, it's difficult. And so there are going to be some things like this that that are created. Now, how is the government's using it around the world? They're using it to distract, pick a side, vilify him. And so far it's working, in that people aren't using this Nine of Wands discernment and saying, hold on a minute, we were talking about you, Boris. We were talking about you, Queen. We were talking about you, Witty. We were talking about you, Javid. We were talking about something else. That's where the redirection of attention needs to go to. But this black box, this black mirror, this TV, this mainstream media is working overtime to vilify with this Seven of Wands and this Nine of Wands. A magician that is doing something that for now we should maybe let him do, let him be. And it's so difficult for me to say, because I know people are hurting, I know people are frightened. but we've gotten to where we've gotten to. There's going to be some heartache in the rebalancing and the recalibration, should we succeed, of this realm. The nefarious powers that these people have got. If you think he's bad, you think of Fauci, and my spirit cringes. Yeah. So this lab that I'm feeling, I would expect that, especially in Kyiv, over the next 2 to 3 days, to have had a bigger explosion than seen before now. And I won't be sad. The way I feel from what I'm seeing, I actually won't be sad. I will be glad. I'll be, horrified that anybody would get hurt. But the actual physical building, the actual reasoning with this Ace of Swords behind it, I won't feel sad. There is an energy with him that does not want the children's DNA manipulated, that does not want, it would bring, and again, that's not, I feel, from a place of like holier than thou goodness. I just feel it's from a place of strategy, KGB style strategy. You don't want this kind of technology around you that could have people that are literally working alongside you activated by another country that hasn't even had to send anybody through your borders, so to speak. And that's where that's at with him, with his reasoning. Now, the 4 major arcana, Emperor on the bottom of the deck, this would speak to this authority, this Daddy Saturn time, sitting on the throne with a readiness to do what others are not ready to do, with a readiness to act when others aren't brave enough to act, with a knowing of what is going on, with a knowing of the other aspects and layers of what we're fighting right now. And so he is guided by further knowing than the rest of humanity. He is guided by being very connected with what has been going on. And he's willing to do anything and anyone in order to reach those goals. He's a very strong man. He's a very intelligent man. And again, I don't say anything to say that, oh, I think this is a good man. I've got no right to label, and it's not black and white. But he's righteous in the principles that he holds. And this technology is a step too far for him, because he can't keep it in his throne. He can't keep it just in his grasp. So again, it's not this philanthropic type energy that is coming through there. So we've got the Judgment card on the bottom of the other deck. Now, the Judgment card would say, willing to stand up for his soul's path, his journey, willing to hear the call of what is necessary, and willing to strip himself bare of, willing to be vilified, willing to be hated, to reach his goal, to follow his path, to go on his path, to go on his journey. And it really is like this war of the gods being reflected in the leaders of these different countries. He feels like more of a leader to me outside of the clutches of the hidden faces that more or less puppet the other leaders, Biden, Boris. He feels like more of a independent wild card to me, outside of the grasps of them, outside of the wills and wants of them. It's not to say he's not immune to their power and their manipulation, but he is immune to being owned by them, like owned by those hidden faces. Couldn't give two shits about the sanctions. That's neither here nor there. He's planned enough, saved enough for this moment. And again, he doesn't really care about his people. He cares that they are his people, his possessions, his things. You know, he's willing to sacrifice his own to reach this goal of not having this kind of technology in the hands of other governments, in the hands of other people that can use it against him without, again, even putting anybody across the border to him. He's an interesting character energetically. Seven of Wands. So we've got the Hierophant, the Pope in reverse, to clarify the Seven of Wands. So this would speak to what is being divulged, what is being brought to people's attentions, that is upside down. It's in reverse. It's not as it seems. It's distorted. It's convoluted. It's knowledge that's being brought to the people is completely flipped upside down and changed as regarding his actions and why he's going in with the Seven of Wands, for sure. Now, you see here on the Pope's hand, he's got two fingers here. This is a sign of peace, so that, excuse me, knowledge and the wisdom to use that knowledge, bringing about a peace, you know, bringing about it, and it can only be given to those that have the wisdom to use it, to those that won't use it for nefarious means. And that is what he is standing on the hill for, this is the hill he's willing to die on. But what we are seeing is a play. And actually, I do feel these lab explosions in particular are a very, very necessary evil. And it is the War of the Gods, 5, 5, 5, 5, life change. The hidden hand, the magic hand, using the elements you have to counteract the other side of the scales. So it would be 12, 3. So what we are being told, what we are seeing is completely flipped upside down. But these pillars of knowledge have been distorted, the pillars of knowledge that are behind the Pope here, the Hierophant. What is being brought to the people is to create a division, to create the opposite to peace, war. But when we are seeing here, this is with the 7 layers that he's standing on here. It's a necessary evil to bring about a greater balance on the scales. Ooh, magician card, clarify the magician card. Okay. So we've got the 5, 6, 9 of Swords with the Magician card. So the 9 of Swords would speak to also, it would speak to great nightmares. It would speak to great mental distress. But with this Magician card, it speaks to this technology that I'm talking about, the ability to hijack the synapses of the brain, i.e. the stars that are within the brain, as above, so below. The Magician pointing above with his rod, with the rod that is drawing down the electricity of the stars into the electromagnetic field, into the brain, to then project a completely distorted, completely hurting, like painful, distorted mental view. It's this technology that can manipulate that literally can bring the energy, the frequencies of the stars, and combine that, balance that as above, so below, with the synapses, the swords, the words, the thoughts of the brain to manipulate the electromagnetic field of the being. And it's, in his eyes, fabulous technology, but he can't guarantee that only he has it. And that is just not acceptable. But it creates nightmares, sleepless nights, of course. It creates distorted views and visions of reality. And I just feel there's a real necessity to him getting rid of these labs, in particular in the Ukraine, and actually stopping the money flow in the kickback to America and the UK in particular. More sirens. They're going off all the time in this country now. So we've got the Moon card as to clarify the 9 of Wands in reverse. So again, the manipulation here going through mainstream media is immense. So that's an 18, major arcana, that would be a 9. So we've got the 2 9s together again. This is the magic of 9, the replicating number, the as above, so below number, the 9 that Tesla was absorbed with, you know, the ability to manipulate and control reality through the projector screens of people's brains. The amount of discernment that's needed here to see through the veil of lies and manipulation with this 9 of Wands is so needed right now. It's awful, but I do feel that we should be refusing to send soldiers in the way that we're planning to send soldiers, I feel. Yes, it should be to get people shifted out of the ways so as much as we can. But as regarding fighting him, our government would be fighting us in doing that. They're protecting their assets there. It's got nothing to do with the people there. So on the bottom of the deck, we've got the 4 of Cups in reverse there at the end. That would speak to not being able to see, being emotionally triggered, not being able to see with balanced emotions the needs and necessities for what is going on right now. So that's the reading for that. And I do feel I want to clarify yet again, this is not sides, this is just an insight to this place, Kyiv, in particular, and what is actually going on there, why why there'll be an explosion there, why there'll be this destruction there. I feel very much so that it is more to do with destructing, razing to the ground, technology labs capabilities that he doesn't want in their hands. And to be quite frank, neither do we. So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one to put out there. I'm just going to put it out, even though it's hard to flow when you're talking about things on YouTube that YouTube won't like. But I hope you get the gist of what I'm saying. As regard, we need to be making noises about these labs, big noises. We need to be resisting the manipulation and the side taking. Very much so. But he's a badass, and he's a badass that doesn't want the technologies that are being rolled out today, every day for the last few years, in the hands of the other powers that be. So for now, as it stands, as Kyiv stands, it feels to me like a necessary evil. So take of it what you will, take what resonates and leave what does not. I appreciate you all being here. Much love, balance and wholeness. And thank you so much for everybody that helped me lift me up through the recent energy harvest that went on with me. Appreciate you all and love you all very, very much. Love is the key and the answer.